every night. While the world grows quiet and your body drifts into sleep, something remarkable happens. As your eyes close and the room fades to darkness, an invisible door opens. Most people never notice it. They believe they're simply dreaming, lost in random images, their brains stitched together from the day. They wake up, shake off the fragments, and move on, never realizing they've just returned from a journey far more profound than they could imagine. But what if I told you, your dreams are not random at all? Every single night, while you rest, you step into a hidden realm of communication, a place where time bends, space dissolves, and you meet the many versions of you, versions of yourself who live in other timelines, other realities, where the goals you now chase have already been achieved. They have found the love you long for, the health you've been seeking, the freedom you've been craving. These versions of you are not fantasies. They are real as the beating of your heart, simply existing on a different frequency. And here's the secret that changes everything. Your dreams are the bridge between these worlds. You see, the universe is never silent. It doesn't send emails or text messages, it whispers through symbols, feelings, and visions while you sleep. Each night, while your logical mind finally steps aside, you are given guidance. Not in theory, but in precise, detailed instructions about the path ahead. A dream isn't just a movie playing in your head. It's a private conversation, a secret meeting between your waking self and your higher self. Most people miss this because they were taught to dismiss their dreams as meaningless. They were told, "Oh, it's just your subconscious clearing out clutter." But deep down, you've always felt there was more to it, haven't you? That moment when you wake up and your chest feels heavy with a truth you can't put into words, or when a dream leaves you with a sense of calm, as if someone just handed you a map you haven't learned to read yet. That's not imagination. That's communication. And here's the beautiful part. Tonight, you can begin to decode it. Think of it like learning the language of your soul. When you finally understand what's been given to you every night, your entire life begins to shift. Decisions that once felt impossible become clear. The weight you've been carrying starts to lift, not because the world changed, but because you changed. Your awareness expanded to include more than just this narrow slice of reality. Imagine this. You're standing at a crossroads, unsure which way to go. In your dream, a door appears, glowing softly, and someone, maybe even a version of you, takes your hand and guides you through it. When you wake up, you dismiss it as just a dream. But what if that door represented a real choice in your waking life? What if the hand guiding you was your own higher consciousness, showing you what's waiting, if you dare to trust it? I've seen this happen, not just for myself, but for countless others. I've heard stories of people waking up with the solution to a problem they've wrestled with for years. I've watched lives transform when someone realized their dreams weren't random. They were instructions. It's like planting seeds in the soil of your soul. Every night, those seeds are given to you. Most people throw them away before they ever sprout. But you, tonight, you'll begin to plant them with intention. And here's how you start. Before you go to bed, take a deep breath and set a clear intention. Don't just say, "I want answers." Be specific. Maybe you whisper, "Show me the next step in healing this relationship," or "Guide me toward my highest purpose." Then, let go. You don't need to force it. Trust that your consciousness knows exactly where to go and how to bring back what you need. When you wake up, resist the urge to jump out of bed. Stay still. Close your eyes and revisit the dream while it's still fresh. Then, write it down, every detail, even the ones that seem silly or impossible. Those fragments are clues. As you practice, you'll begin to notice patterns. The guidance will become clearer. You'll realize it's not symbolic nonsense. It's direct communication. Over time, This practice becomes more than a habit. It becomes a doorway to a life where you are guided, supported, and deeply connected to something larger than yourself. You stop feeling alone because you begin to sense the network of versions of you all working together across timelines. For your growth, it's like a symphony, and you are both the conductor and the music. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember, you are not just going to sleep. You are stepping into a meeting with your own soul. The dreams you've dismissed your whole life are waiting to be heard. And when you finally listen, you'll discover they've been guiding you all along. This isn't magic. It isn't luck. It's the natural design of consciousness, the way the universe speaks to itself through you. As you drift off tonight, carry this, knowing with you, the answers you've been searching for are already within reach. All you have to do is dream with your eyes wide open. 1. Quantum dreams are direct communication, not symbols. For most of my life, I believe dreams were like puzzles, strange images stitched together by the mind, waiting to be decoded. That's what I was taught. That's what most of us are taught. We buy books about dream symbols. We look up what a snake or a falling tree might mean. And we convince ourselves that if we just interpret correctly, we'll uncover some hidden message buried deep in our subconscious. But over the years, through my own experiences, I've come to realize something profoundly different. Quantum dreams don't work that way. They are not metaphors. They are not riddles to be solved. They are direct conversations. Think of it like this. When a loved one calls you on the phone, you don't need to analyze the sound of their voice or the choice of words to figure out if they're speaking to you. You simply listen. You trust that the words they're saying mean exactly what they mean. There's a clarity in that kind of exchange. One heart speaking to another. Quantum dreams are like that. They are phone calls from other versions of you, ringing through the night. And yet, here's the heartbreaking part. Most of us never answer the call. Instead, we wake up and immediately start trying to interpret it as if the dream were a riddle sent by some cryptic force outside of ourselves. We say, well, maybe the ocean represents my emotions, or perhaps the house I saw means stability or family. But in doing so, we twist a direct message into something vague and symbolic, and the truth gets lost in translation. When I began to understand this, my entire relationship with dreaming changed. I stopped trying to be a detective, piecing together fragments into a story. Instead, I became a listener. I started to approach my dreams the way you might approach a friend who speaks plainly and directly with trust. And slowly, a new kind of clarity began to emerge. I remember one night vividly. I had been struggling with a decision that felt impossibly heavy. In my dream, there was no symbolism, no strange imagery. I simply found myself standing in a quiet room with another version of me older, calmer, filled with a presence that felt both foreign and deeply familiar. He looked at me and said one sentence, simple and clear, go left, not right. That was it. No metaphor, no puzzle. When I woke up, my mind wanted to complicate it, to question it, but my heart knew. 2 weeks later, I stood at a crossroads in my waking life, faced with two distinct choices. I remembered the dream, took a deep breath, and chose left. Looking back now, that moment changed everything for me. Had I tried to analyze the dream, I might have convinced myself it meant something else entirely. I might have hesitated, doubted, or even gone in the opposite direction. Instead, by trusting the message as direct communication, I allowed it to guide me, and it did so with a precision that still humbles me today. You see, dreams don't need to be translated. They need to be received. The same way sunlight falls through a window and warms your skin, dream messages fall directly into your consciousness. You don't have to break them apart or rearrange them. You only have to let them land. This requires something many of us are not used to: giving ourselves stillness and trust. The modern mind is addicted to analysis. We want to pick everything apart, to label it, to dissect it until we feel in control. But in doing so, we often strangle the very clarity we are seeking. Quantum dreams exist beyond that need for control. They come from the part of you that already knows, the part that has no doubt, no hesitation, no confusion. When you try to decode a dream symbolically, it's like trying to catch water with a net. The more you struggle, the more slips through. But when you simply cup your hands and receive, you hold the essence intact. I know this may sound strange at first. After all, we've been conditioned for generations to believe that dreams are symbolic, that they hide meanings beneath layers of imagery. But think about how exhausting that belief really is. It makes you feel like you're always a step behind, always trying to solve a mystery you can never fully solve. It keeps you chasing interpretations instead of living the truth. Quantum dreams offer something radically different: direct truth, delivered simply and clearly. When you begin to treat your dreams as conversations, everything shifts. You no longer wake up wondering, "What does this mean?" Instead, you wake up and ask, "What was I told?" That subtle shift changes everything. It moves you out of confusion and into clarity, out of doubt and into action. This doesn't mean every dream will come through in perfect sentences or obvious instructions. Sometimes, the communication is a feeling rather than words, a deep, unmistakable sense of knowing that rises in your chest the moment you wake. Other times, it comes as a scene so real and vivid it lingers in your body for days. But whether it's an image, a voice, or a feeling, the core remains the same. It is direct, it is specific, and it is meant for you. The next time you wake from a dream that feels significant, try this. Instead of rushing to interpret, pause it. Sit quietly with it. Ask yourself, if this were direct communication, what is it saying to me right now? Listen for the first response that rises, not from your mind, but from your heart. That first whisper is usually the truest. I've seen people transform their lives simply by making this shift. They go from endlessly searching for meaning to living with meaning. They stop looking for answers outside of themselves and begin to realize they've been receiving guidance all along. It was never hidden. It was never symbolic. It was always clear. The only thing missing was their willingness to hear it. And that, I believe, is the great turning point for anyone walking this path. The moment you stop trying to solve your dreams like riddles and start embracing them as direct, sacred conversations, you begin to trust yourself in a way you never have before. You begin to understand that there is a version of you, wiser, broader, deeply connected, who has been reaching out to you every night. When you finally listen, not with analysis, but with reverence, you realize something simple and profound. Your dreams are not separate from your life. They are part of the same flow, the same current of consciousness guiding you home. And you have been swimming in that current all along. 2. Signs that you are ready for quantum dreams. There comes a quiet moment in life when you begin to sense that something deep within you is shifting. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or grand revelations. Instead, it slips in gently, like the way dawn spreads across a dark sky. At first, you might not even notice. You go about your days, thinking everything is as it's always been. But then, you start to feel it. It often begins in your sleep, your dreams. Those places you once considered random and chaotic start to feel different. They become vivid, almost too real. You wake up with the lingering sense that you've actually been somewhere, spoken with someone, or lived an entirely different life while your body lay still in bed. It's like you've been traveling to another dimension. And in truth, you have. I remember when this started happening to me. For years, my dreams were like scattered fragments, quickly dissolving the moment I opened my eyes. But one morning, I woke up with a dream so clear, so detailed, that I sat on the edge of my bed in silence, afraid to move in case it faded away. The colors, the voices, the feeling of the air on my skin, it was indistinguishable from waking reality. That was the first time I realized something inside me had awakened. When your dreams begin to take on this kind of clarity, it is no accident. It is a sign that your consciousness is reaching a new frequency, one where the veil between worlds grows thin. You may also notice that your dream recall is improving. In the past, maybe you struggled to remember anything at all, just bits and pieces slipping through your fingers like water. But now, you find that the dreams stay with you, not just for a few moments in the morning, but for hours, even days. They echo in your mind while you wash the dishes or sit quietly in a waiting room. And no matter how much time passes, the details remain sharp, as if they are etched into your memory. This change is important. It means that your mind is no longer discarding dream information as unnecessary. Instead, it's treating these experiences as something valuable, something sacred. It's like a door inside you has been unlocked, allowing you to bring back what you once left behind. And then, perhaps the most startling sign of all, your dreams begin to merge with your waking life. You dream of a stranger, a face you've never seen, a voice you've never heard. It feels insignificant at first, just another random figure in a passing dream. But days later, you walk into a cafe or a store, and there they are. The same face, the same voice. The moment stops you in your tracks. A shiver runs through you, not from fear, but from the undeniable knowing that what you experienced in your dream was real. I've spoken with many people who've had this exact experience. Some dream of conversations that later play out word for word in waking life. Others see places they've never visited, only to find themselves standing there weeks later, overwhelmed by déjà vu. These moments are not coincidences. They are proof that your inner and outer worlds are beginning to align, that the boundary between them is dissolving. Your dreams are no longer separate from your reality. They are becoming a map for it. When this begins to happen, you may feel a mixture of wonder and unease. Part of you is amazed, while another part whispers, "Am I imagining this? Is it all in my head?" It's natural to question yourself. I did too. There were nights when I doubted everything, wondering if I was simply making connections where none existed. But the signs kept coming too precise, too powerful to ignore. Over time, I came to understand that this was not imagination. It was initiation. You are being prepared for something greater. These shifts are like the soft rumble before a storm, the subtle signs that something big is on the horizon. They are proof that your ability to receive quantum information is being upgraded. You are being tuned, like an instrument, to hear a frequency you couldn't hear before. And just like a musician must learn to play new notes, you are learning to navigate this new level of awareness. It's a process, and it requires patience. But even if you don't fully understand it yet, trust that nothing is happening by accident. One of the hardest parts of this journey is learning to allow, rather than to control. When we sense change coming, our instinct is often to grip tightly, to analyze, to force answers. But quantum dreams don't respond to force. They unfold naturally, like a flower blooming in the sun. If you try to pull the petals open too soon, you destroy their beauty. So instead of trying to control these dreams, try to receive them with gratitude. When you wake from a dream that feels significant, pause, breathe, sit in silence for a moment. You don't need to immediately decode or interpret it. Just let it settle into you, like rain soaking into dry earth. Over time, the meaning will reveal itself, not through effort, but through quiet recognition. As your dreams become more vivid and intertwined with reality, you may also notice changes in yourself. You might feel more sensitive to energy, more aware of subtle emotions, both your own and those of others. You may find yourself drawn to certain places or people without knowing why, as if something unseen is guiding you. These are all part of the same awakening. It's as if your inner compass is being recalibrated to align with a higher truth. And though it can feel overwhelming at times, know this: you are not alone. Many others are walking this same path, quietly, invisibly, side by side with you. The signs are there: the vividness of your dreams, the clarity of recall, the merging of inner and outer worlds. These are not random occurrences. They are signals from the universe, or perhaps more accurately, signals from you. The deeper, expanded you who exists beyond time and space. You are being prepared for a leap in consciousness, a step into a reality where dreams are not just dreams, but bridges, where every night becomes a meeting place, and every morning brings back wisdom you didn't know you carried. When these signs appear, don't run from them. Don't dismiss them as coincidence or fantasy. Pause. Listen. Allow yourself to be led. Because if you are seeing these signs, it means one simple, beautiful truth: you are ready. 3. The awakening that came through a dream. There was a time in my life when everything felt heavy and directionless. Each day seemed to blur into the next. And no matter how hard I tried, nothing seemed to move forward. I was exhausted, not just in my body, but deep in my spirit. It was as though I had been walking in circles in a dense fog, unable to see even a single step ahead. There were moments when I questioned everything: my choices, my purpose, even my worth. It was during this period of quiet desperation that something extraordinary happened. Something that, at first, I didn't fully understand. One night, as I drifted into sleep, I found myself standing in a place unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It was a vast library, but not like the ones we know. The walls shimmered with crystalline light, as if the very air was made of glass and stars. Every surface glowed softly, illuminating the space without a single visible lamp or flame. There was no sound, no movement, only a profound stillness that felt alive, like the pause between heartbeats. I walked slowly, my footsteps silent on the radiant floor. My breath caught as I realized what this place was. It wasn't just a library of books or knowledge. It felt like a library of lives, a space where timelines and possibilities were stored, waiting to be explored. And then, I saw him. At the far end of the hall stood a man tall, calm, and familiar in a way that made my heart ache. As I moved closer, I realized why he was me. Not a stranger, not a symbolic figure. Me, only older, perhaps 10 or 15 years beyond the age I was then. His presence was quiet but powerful, like a steady flame that never flickers. His eyes held a kind of knowing I had never seen before, a deep, unwavering clarity that seemed to cut through the fog I had been trapped in for so long. Looking into those eyes felt like coming home to a truth I had forgotten. He didn't speak a single word. He didn't have to. Instead, something unspoken passed between us, a direct transfer of understanding, as though the very air carried meaning. In that silent exchange, I received precise guidance decisions I needed to make, people I would soon meet, and opportunities that were just beyond the horizon, waiting for me to recognize them. There was no mystery about it, no riddles or metaphors. The information came through as clean and clear as sunlight through a window. For the first time, in what felt like forever, I felt grounded, certain, at peace. When I woke the next morning, my first instinct was to doubt it. It was, after all, just a dream, wasn't it? But something inside me refused to dismiss it. The clarity was too sharp, the details too specific. So I sat up, grabbed a notebook, and wrote everything down, every image, every feeling, even the fragments that seemed irrelevant or strange. I wrote until my hand ached, afraid that if I didn't, it would all vanish back into the mist of sleep. The next 2 weeks were nothing short of astonishing. Piece by piece, the things I had been shown in that crystalline library began to unfold in my waking life. A conversation I had glimpsed in the dream took place word for word. A stranger I had seen only in that dream appeared in my life at exactly the right moment. Opportunities I didn't even know existed began to open, precisely as I had been shown. It wasn't subtle or vague. It was exact, like watching a movie play out, scene by scene. Only now, I was living inside it. Each moment felt like a gentle hand on my shoulder, reassuring me that I wasn't lost after all, that even in my darkest hours, there had been a plan quietly unfolding beneath the surface, waiting for me to align with it. This experience changed me in ways I'm still uncovering to this day. Before that dream, I believed that guidance had to come from outside of me, from books, teachers, or random signs in the world. I thought I had to search endlessly for answers, piecing them together like a puzzle, but standing in that library, looking into the eyes of my future self, I understood something far simpler and far more profound. The guidance was never outside. It was always within. That dream wasn't a fantasy. It was a meeting, a conversation between the me who was lost and the me who had already walked the path ahead. It was as if my future self reached back through time, whispering, "This is the way. You are safe. Keep going." I share this with you because I know what it feels like to doubt. I know how easy it is to dismiss a dream as just a dream, to brush aside that inner knowing because it doesn't fit the logical rules of this world. But I've learned that the moments we are most tempted to dismiss are often the very moments that carry the deepest truth. If you have ever had a dream so vivid it stayed with you all day, if you've ever woken with tears in your eyes or peace in your heart you couldn't explain, if you've ever sensed that a dream was more than imagination, that it was a message, then I want you to hear me now. Trust it. Dreams are not mere stories. They are bridges. Bridges between the self you are today and the self you are becoming. Between the confusion of the present and the clarity of the future. That night in the crystalline library, I was given more than just information. I was given hope. I was shown that no matter how dark life seems, there is always a version of you who has already found the light, and that version is reaching out. Every single night, through the language of dreams. So now, when I wake from a dream, I no longer dismiss it. I listen, I write, I act, because I know that each dream is a whisper from the future, a reminder that I am guided, even when I cannot see the path ahead. And perhaps most importantly, I know this. When you open yourself to these whispers, when you trust what they reveal, you step into a life where you are no longer stumbling in the dark. You begin to walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that your future self is already lighting the way home. 4. The 5-step process to decode your quantum dreams. There is a quiet kind of magic that happens when you finally begin to treat your dreams as more than just fleeting images or forgotten stories. It's not the kind of magic you see in movies or read about in fairy tales. It's subtle, deeply human, and profoundly real. It's the moment you realize that every night, as you close your eyes, you're stepping into a conversation with your own soul. For years, I ignored my dreams. I dismissed them as meaningless, as most of us do. But when I started to pay attention, truly pay attention, my life began to shift in ways I couldn't have imagined. I stopped feeling like a victim of circumstance and started feeling guided, supported, and connected. And it all began with a simple practice, a way of meeting my dreams halfway, of saying, "I'm listening." This practice isn't complicated. In fact, it's as natural as breathing. But like all simple truths, it requiert présence, patience, and trust. Tonight, you can begin. Here's how. Step 1. Before sleep, Set a clear intention before you drift off. Take a few quiet moments to center yourself. Turn off the noise of the day, the phone, the television, the endless scroll of thoughts, and create a small space of stillness. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Then, set an intention, clear and specific. Don't just say, "I want a good dream." Instead, speak to your deeper self with focus and clarity. For example, you might say silently tonight, "I ask to receive guidance about the next step in my career," or "Show me how to heal this relationship that has been causing me pain." Your intention is like a compass. Without it, you might wander aimlessly. With it, your subconscious knows exactly where to go and what to bring back to you. Think of it like programming a destination into a GPS before you start your journey. Step 2. During sleep, let go of control. Once you've set your intention, release it. This is where many people struggle. We live in a world that teaches us to cling, to force, to control. But dreams don't respond to control. They bloom in surrender. As you drift into sleep, don't try to direct what happens. Don't overthink or grip tightly to your request. Simply trust that your deeper mind, your higher self, knows exactly what to do. Like a river that flows naturally toward the sea, your consciousness will carry you where you need to go. This step is about faith, not in a religious sense, but in the quiet confidence that there is a part of you that already understands. Your only job here is to let go. Step 3. Upon waking, capture the dream before it fades when morning comes. There is a fragile, golden moment between sleep and wakefulness. It's like standing on a thin bridge between two worlds. In that moment, your dream is still whole, still alive. Most people rush past this bridge. They open their eyes, grab their phone, and dive headfirst into the noise of the day. By the time they pause, the dream has slipped away, like mist dissolving in sunlight. Don't let that happen. When you wake, stay still. Don't move. Don't open your eyes right away. Simply remain quiet and let the dream replay in your mind. Notice the details, the colors, the sensations, the conversations. Once you've gathered as much as you can, write it down immediately, even if some of it feels irrelevant or strange. Record it. Dreams speak in layers. What seems unimportant now may reveal its meaning later. This practice is not about perfection. It's about showing respect to the message by catching it before it disappears. Step 4. Within 24 hours, see it as guidance, not symbols. Here is where most people go wrong. They start analyzing, they pick apart the dream, searching for hidden meanings and symbols. They say, "Oh, a river must represent my emotions," or "a door must mean opportunity." But quantum dreams don't work that way. They are direct communication, not puzzles. Instead of asking, "What does this symbolize?" try asking, "What is this telling me directly?" Look at the dream as if it were a conversation you had with a trusted friend. If you dreamed of meeting someone and they gave you advice, don't translate it into abstract metaphors. Take the advice literally. If you saw yourself at a crossroads, don't overthink it. It may be pointing to a very real decision you're about to face. Treat the dream as practical guidance. Write down what actions it suggests, and sit with those actions quietly. Notice how they feel in your body. If there's a sense of calm clarity, you're on the right path. Step 5. Practice and observe the results. The final step is where transformation begins. Take the information you've received and act on it, even in small ways. Don't wait for perfect certainty or flawless understanding. Just begin. This step is like planting a seed. You won't see the flower bloom overnight, but with time, growth will reveal itself. As you act, watch what unfolds in your waking life. If the guidance you received brings healing, alignment, or progress, You'll know you've understood the message correctly. And if the results feel confusing or stagnant, don't see it as failure. It's simply an invitation to return to the process, to listen again with deeper awareness. Like learning any new language, dream decoding takes practice. Each night becomes another conversation, another chance to strengthen your connection. Why this matters. These 5 steps are more than a technique. They are a way of building trust, not just with your dreams, but with yourself. Every night you do this, you're telling your soul, I value your guidance. I am ready to listen. Over time, something beautiful begins to happen. You stop feeling alone in your journey. You begin to sense that there is a wiser, more expansive version of you walking alongside you, guiding you, supporting you, holding a light when everything feels dark. The world may still be uncertain, but inside, you feel a quiet stability. You understand that no matter what challenges you face, there is always guidance available to you. All you need to do is close your eyes, open your heart, and listen. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, try this process. Start with one simple intention, and when you wake tomorrow, notice what comes through. It may seem small at first, a fragment of a dream, a fleeting image, but trust it. It is the beginning of a conversation that can change your life, because when you honor your dreams, you're not just decoding messages. You're remembering who you really are, a being connected across dimensions, never lost, never alone, always guided. 5. The role of dreams in collective evolution. There is a quiet truth I've come to realize over the years. Nothing we do, think, or feel happens in isolation. Every choice, every act of love or fear, ripples outward, touching others in ways we may never see. We are like drops of water in an ocean, separate on the surface, but deeply connected beneath. And when we begin to understand this, the way we look at our lives changes forever. The same is true of our dreams. When you begin decoding and living by the guidance of your quantum dreams, you may think it's just about you, your healing, your growth, your clarity. At first, it feels personal, even private, like a sacred conversation between your soul and your waking self. But there comes a moment, often unexpectedly, when you realize something profound. Each dream you decode is not only shaping your reality, it's also shaping the collective reality of humanity. I remember the first time this truth struck me. It was subtle, almost like a whisper. I had been following my dreams for a while, using them to guide my choices. Then one day, I noticed something strange. The changes I made in my own life began to ripple outward, affecting the people around me, friends, family, even strangers. My relationships grew softer and more authentic. Opportunities appeared not just for me, but for others connected to me. It was as if, by healing one small part of my inner world, I had sent out a signal, and that signal gave others permission to heal. 2. This is the essence of collective evolution. When you take a step forward in consciousness, you are not walking alone. You are walking for countless others who are silently connected to you through the unseen web of life. Every time you listen to the guidance of your dreams and act on it, you send a message to the shared field of humanity. This is possible. This is the way forward. Think of it like a forest. Each tree appears to stand alone, but beneath the soil, their roots intertwine, sharing nutrients and information. When one tree grows stronger, it nourishes the others. When one falls ill, the whole forest feels it. Humanity works the same way. Our minds and hearts are connected through what some call the collective field, a vast network of energy and information that binds us together. Your dreams are not separate from this field. They are portals into it. When you bring back wisdom from a dream and embody it in your waking life, you are not just healing yourself, you are planting seeds of possibility in that shared field. And those seeds can grow in the lives of people you've never met. Consider this. A mother has a dream that guides her to heal an old wound. She wakes up, follows the message, and chooses compassion instead of anger with her child. That single act changes the child's experience, softening their heart and shaping how they treat others. That child grows up to lead with empathy, and their choices ripple out into their community, influencing hundreds of lives. It all began with one dream, one person listening, one person acting. This is why your dreams matter more than you realize. Every message you decode, every truth you embody, contributes to a shift far greater than yourself. And there is something even more beautiful. You are preparing the way for those who will come after you. The children being born today are different. Many of them arrive with natural access to quantum communication, to the wisdom that you and I have had to struggle and strive to uncover. They are like open channels, tuned to higher frequencies from the very beginning, but they need a world ready to receive them. Every time you honor a dream, you are clearing the path for these souls. You are strengthening the collective field so that their gifts will not be dismissed or misunderstood. You are helping to create a future where it is normal, not strange, for people to navigate life through inner guidance and deep connection. When I think about this, I often imagine a great river. Those of us decoding our dreams today are like the first few drops of water, slowly carving a channel through the earth. It takes effort. It takes persistence. At times, it feels like nothing is happening. But as more drops join, the channel widens, the flow strengthens, and eventually, it becomes a mighty river that others can navigate with ease. The children to come will not have to fight to find this river. They will be born into a world where it already flows freely, carrying them effortlessly toward their purpose. And they will go even further than we can imagine, not because they are better, but because we built the foundation for them to soar. So tonight, when you close your eyes and step into the realm of dreams, remember this: you are not dreaming for yourself alone. You are dreaming for the whole, for the strangers you'll never meet, for the generations yet to come, for the collective heart of humanity that longs to awaken. Each time you receive a message and act on it, you add light to the shared field. You become a beacon, guiding others through the fog, even if they never know your name, even if they never understand where that light came from. This is the quiet work of evolution. It doesn't always make headlines or appear in history books, but it matters more than we can comprehend. You may feel small in the face of the world's vastness, but the truth is, you are part of something immense. When you honor your dreams, you are participating in a sacred exchange, the individual serving the collective, and the collective supporting the individual. It is a dance as old as time, one that is now entering a new chapter. So trust your dreams, follow them, not just for your own healing, but for the healing of all, because every insight you bring back, every action you take, in alignment with that deeper guidance, strengthens the web we all share. In this way, your personal awakening becomes a gift to the world, and the first step toward a future where awakening is no longer rare, but natural. 6. Recognizing quantum dreams in everyday life. There are certain dreams that refuse to fade with the morning light. While most dreams dissolve like mist as the day begins, these dreams stay with you vivid, sharp, almost tangible. You wake with your heart pounding or your body deeply calm, carrying the undeniable sense that you've just returned from somewhere real. It's as though you've been traveling in the night, moving beyond the walls of your bedroom, beyond the limits of this single life. And in a way, you have. These are quantum dreams, and they are different from ordinary dreams. They are not the random firing of neurons or the brain recycling scraps of memory. Instead, they are messages, real communications between you and other versions of yourself that exist in different timelines, where the answers you've been searching for already live. I remember the first time I experienced one of these dreams. I woke before dawn, and for a moment, I couldn't tell if I was awake or still asleep. The dream had been so clear, so full of detail, that my mind couldn't separate it from reality. The texture of the air, the sound of someone's voice, the way the light fell through a window, it was all there, imprinted on my senses, and the feeling that lingered was unlike anything I'd known before. It wasn't confusion or fear, it was recognition, as if some part of me had been waiting for this moment all along. That morning, I understood that dreams are not merely stories. Some are visits, some are downloads, some are direct transmissions of truth. Over time, I've come to see that these special dreams tend to fall into a few clear patterns, ways your higher self reaches out to you through the night, dreams of healing. There are nights when you enter a dream carrying the heavy weight of pain, an old wound, a deep grief, a fear you can't shake. And yet, by the time you awaken, something has shifted. Perhaps in the dream, you met someone you once lost, and together you spoke the words that could never be spoken in life. Perhaps you found yourself standing in a place that radiated peace, a place where you could finally rest, finally release what has been holding you captive for so long. When you wake, the pain is softer. Sometimes, it's gone entirely. You may not be able to explain it, but you know something real happened while you slept. These are healing dreams. They are not symbolic fantasies. They are actual processes of repair happening at a soul-deep level. In these moments, you are aligning with versions of yourself that have already healed, drawing strength and integration from their wholeness. It's like being gently stitched back together in the dark. Dreams that glimpse the future. Then there are dreams that feel like a window opening onto something that hasn't happened yet. You might dream of a conversation so ordinary, so simple, that you dismiss it at first. But days later, the exact words are spoken in your waking life, and you feel a shiver run down your spine. Or you see a place you've never been, only to find yourself standing there weeks later, overwhelmed by déjà vu. These prophetic dreams are not rare coincidences. They are evidence of the interconnected nature of time. In the quantum field, past, present, and future exist side by side. When you dream in this way, you are stepping into that field, experiencing potential realities before they unfold. Prophetic dreams are not here to frighten you or control you. They are gifts, gentle signposts meant to prepare you, to help you navigate life with greater grace and awareness. When they come, pay attention. They are your future self, reaching back to whisper, "This is coming. Be ready." Dreams that bring knowledge some mornings. You wake with an idea so brilliant, so complete, that it feels as if it didn't come from you at all. An answer to a problem you've been wrestling with for weeks appears fully formed in your mind. A melody, a story, a vision for a new project bursts forth, clear and ready to be expressed. These are download dreams, where you connect with other versions of yourself, the ones who have already solved the puzzle, already mastered the skill, already created the thing you're struggling to bring forth. It may feel miraculous, but it is simply how consciousness works at higher levels. Inspiration doesn't come from outside of you. It comes from the expanded network of your own being. Through these dreams, you are receiving wisdom from realms where the solution already exists. Think of it like visiting a library in the night and returning with a book you didn't know you needed. Why these dreams matter. It's tempting to dismiss such experiences as just imagination. The rational mind will try to convince you that none of it was real. But deep down, you know better. The depth of emotion you felt, the clarity of the details, the way your waking life seems to bend and align afterward. These are not the marks of fantasy. When a dream stays with you long after you've opened your eyes, it's because it carries truth. It's because you didn't simply dream. You traveled, you connected, you remembered. These dreams are proof that you are far more expansive than you've been taught to believe. They are glimpses into the reality that you are not a single self, moving through a single timeline. You are a network of selves, woven across dimensions. Each night, through these dreams, you are in conversation with that greater network, bringing the awareness into your day. Recognizing these dreams is only the first step. The real work and the real gift comes when you begin to live as though they matter. When you wake from a healing dream, carry that wholeness into your day. Treat yourself gently, as though you've been given a second chance to begin again. When you wake from a prophetic dream, approach the future with awareness, not fear. Use what you've been shown to make wise choices in the present. And when you wake from a download dream, honor the inspiration. Write it down, share it, create from it. These ideas are not random. They are your soul speaking through you. The more you engage with your dreams in this way, the more they will come. It's as if the universe says, you are listening now, and responds by giving you clearer and clearer guidance. The truth beneath it. All quantum dreams are not about escaping this life or living in some mystical fantasy. They are about deepening your relationship with reality, both the visible and the invisible. They are reminders that you are never alone, never without guidance, never cut off from the wisdom you need. Each healing, each glimpse of the future, each burst of inspiration is a message. You are connected, you are supported, and everything you seek already exists. So the next time you wake from a dream that lingers in your heart like a song you can't forget, don't dismiss it. Sit with it, breathe into it. Let it remind you that you are more than this single moment, this single life, because every dream like this is an invitation, a doorway into the vast, interconnected truth of who you really are. And every time you step through that doorway, you bring a little more of that truth back into the world. 7. The difference between ordinary dreams and quantum dreams. There's a moment each morning when the boundary between sleep and wakefulness feels like a thin veil. In that space, everything blurs: what was real, what was imagined, what was simply a dream. Most people pass through this threshold without much thought. They shake off the images of the night, as if they were nothing more than random scraps of memory. But not all dreams are the same. Some dissolve like smoke, leaving no trace, while others linger, bright and undeniable, like a vivid painting etched into your mind. Over the years, I've come to understand that there are two very different kinds of dreams: ordinary dreams and quantum dreams. And learning to distinguish between them is the key to awakening to a deeper, more connected life. Ordinary dreams, the echoes of the day. Ordinary dreams are the ones most of us are familiar with. They are like echoes, reflections of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences from waking life. Throughout the day, your mind collects impressions, worries, conversations, and unresolved feelings. When you sleep, your brain processes these fragments, sorting and filing them the way a computer clears its memory cache. These dreams can be bizarre or disjointed because they aren't meant to make sense. They're simply the subconscious mind digesting everything it's absorbed. For example, you might dream about a friend, a song you heard, and a place you visited, all mashed together in a single, surreal storyline. When you wake from these dreams, they fade quickly. They feel fleeting, fragile, like trying to recall the details of a conversation you only half heard. Even when you do remember them, there's often a certain hollowness to them. No weight, no deeper resonance. These are ordinary dreams. They serve a purpose, but that purpose is mostly maintenance. They keep your mind balanced, your emotions stable, and your system running smoothly. Think of them as nightly house cleaning for the psyche. Important, yes, but not transformative. Quantum dreams, gateways to other realities. Quantum dreams are different, profoundly different. When you have one, you know, you don't need to analyze or compare. The experience itself speaks louder than any explanation. These dreams are clear, vivid, and unmistakably real. The colors are sharper, the sounds more distinct, and the sensations more tangible than even your waking life. Sometimes, they stretch on for what feels like hours or even days, as if you've been living another life entirely. When you wake, you don't just remember the dream, you carry it with you, like luggage brought back from a distant journey. In a quantum dream, the boundaries of time and space fall away. You might meet people you've never seen before, only to encounter them later in waking life. You might receive specific information, a name, a message, a decision you need to make that later proves accurate in ways you couldn't have imagined. These dreams are not symbolic riddles to be solved, they are direct transmissions, conversations between your current self and the other versions of you that exist across the vast network of the quantum field. And perhaps most remarkable of all, quantum dreams have the power to alter the course of your waking life. When you act on what they reveal, tangible changes begin to unfold in relationships, opportunities, even the very path you walk in the world, how it feels to wake from each type. The easiest way to tell the difference between an ordinary dream and a quantum dream is how you feel upon waking. With ordinary dreams, there's often confusion or a vague sense of amusement. You might laugh at the absurdity or feel a temporary echo of emotion, a flicker of fear, sadness, or joy, but it fades quickly, like a shadow passing over the sun. By lunchtime, you've likely forgotten the dream altogether. Quantum dreams leave a very different imprint. You wake with a deep, lingering resonance, as though part of you is still standing in that other world. Sometimes there's a physical sensation, warmth in your chest, a tingling in your hands, even tears on your cheeks. Other times, it's an inner knowing, a quiet certainty that what you experienced was not just a dream. These dreams feel complete, whole, and deeply meaningful. They demand your attention. You may find yourself replaying them throughout the day, noticing how the images and messages seem to weave themselves into your waking experiences. It's as if the dream is still alive, still speaking to you, urging you to respond. An example to illustrate: imagine two different nights. On the first night, you dream about being late for a meeting while riding a flying bicycle through a crowded street. It's strange, funny, and chaotic. When you wake, you might shake your head and laugh, quickly moving on with your day. That's an ordinary dream, your mind clearing out fragments of stress and memory. On the second night, you dream of standing at a crossroads, faced with two roads stretching out before you. A calm, steady voice tells you, choose the left path. When you wake, the dream is so vivid it feels etched into your very bones. 2 days later, you find yourself in a real-life situation where you must make a crucial choice. And you remember the dream, trusting its clarity. You choose the left path, and that decision changes your life in ways you couldn't have foreseen. That is a quantum dream. It's not random. It's not symbolic. It's guidance. Why this distinction matters. Learning to recognize the difference between these two types of dreams is like learning to tell apart background noise from a clear signal. Ordinary dreams are like static on a radio. They hum and buzz, serving their purpose, but they don't carry a message meant for you to act upon. Quantum dreams, on the other hand, are like a direct call, a voice breaking through the static, speaking straight to your heart. When you start to discern which dreams are quantum in nature, you open yourself to a whole new way of living. You begin to treat these dreams with reverence, listening to them, writing them down, and most importantly, acting on their guidance. This shift in awareness can transform your life. It turns sleep into more than rest. It becomes a nightly journey into wisdom and connection, a chance to bring back insights that can heal, guide, and inspire you. A final thought. Both types of dreams have value. Ordinary dreams keep your inner world balanced and tidy, like a well-kept home. Quantum dreams, however, are like letters delivered straight from your soul. Letters containing truths too vast to ignore. When you begin to live in partnership with your quantum dreams, you stop seeing them as separate from waking life. Instead, you recognize that they are part of the same flow, the same river of consciousness. Each night, you step into that river. Each morning, you return carrying treasures, ready to shape the day ahead. And slowly, as you honor these gifts, you realize something simple and profound. Your dreams are not an escape from reality. They are the deepest reality of all. 8. When you connect with your multidimensional self. For much of my life, I believed I was just one person, a single mind contained within a single body, walking a solitary path through time. The world taught me this. Our culture reinforces it constantly, telling us we are isolated individuals, separate from one another, and even from our own past and future. But over time, through experiences that words can barely capture, I began to see that this belief was only a small piece of a far greater truth. You are not just you as you know yourself right now. You are a vast, interconnected network of selves, each living out different expressions of your being across multiple timelines and dimensions. The life you see when you open your eyes in the morning is just one thread in a much larger tapestry, and every night, through dreams, you have the chance to glimpse the whole picture. The illusion of separation. It's easy to feel alone in this world. Perhaps you've felt it too, that hollow ache in your chest when you face a hard decision, or when you're weighed down by grief, confusion, or fear. In those moments, it's tempting to believe you are entirely on your own, stumbling blindly through life without guidance. But this sense of isolation is an illusion. It's like standing in a dark room, convinced there is nothing around you, simply because you cannot see it. The truth is, you are surrounded by other versions of yourself, countless expressions of who you are and who you could be. Some live in timelines where they've already achieved the dreams you are still striving for. Others have faced the challenges you are facing now and emerged stronger, wiser, and more whole. These selves are not abstract ideas. They are real as you are in this moment. And they are connected to you through the vast web of consciousness that some call the quantum field. The power of connection. When you begin to connect with this network of selves, something extraordinary happens. The fog of confusion starts to lift. Decisions that once felt impossible suddenly become clear. Why? Because you are no longer working with partial information. Most of the time, we make choices based on limited perspectives. We guess, we hope, we analyze endlessly, trying to piece together a map of a future we cannot see. It's exhausting. But when you access the wisdom of your multidimensional self, it's like suddenly receiving real-time data from every possible outcome. You don't have to guess anymore. You simply know. The path ahead may still require courage, but it no longer feels like stumbling in the dark. It feels like being gently guided by hands you cannot see but deeply trust. This is the power of interdimensional cooperation. You are no longer just one mind trying to navigate the chaos of life. You become part of a team made entirely of you, across space and time, each version contributing its unique perspective and knowledge for the benefit of the whole. A dream that revealed the truth. I remember a dream that changed how I understood this connection forever. In the dream, I was standing in a massive circular room filled with mirrors. At first, I thought I was alone. Then, slowly, I began to see that each mirror held a different reflection. Older versions of me, younger versions who had made different choices, versions who lived in places and circumstances I could hardly imagine. Some looked happy and fulfilled, others weary and battle-worn, but they were all me. As I stood there, a strange thing happened. The mirrors began to fade, and the room itself became filled with living the Fae, breathing versions of me. They moved toward me, forming a circle, and in that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of unity. There were no words spoken, but I knew what they were sharing. Each self was sending me pieces of information, memories, insights, warnings, encouragements. It wasn't chaotic or overwhelming. It was precise, like a symphony playing in perfect harmony. When I woke, I carried with me not only the memory of the dream, but also a deep clarity about my waking life. Decisions I had been agonizing over for months suddenly felt obvious. It was as if the other versions of me had whispered, "Here is the way. You already know. Trust this." The practical impact of this connection. This isn't just a mystical idea. It has real, tangible effects on your life. When you learn to connect with your multidimensional self, you stop feeling so lost. The anxiety that comes from not knowing what's next begins to fade. You become more present, more grounded, because you trust that there is a larger intelligence at work, an intelligence that you are an inseparable part of. Imagine trying to solve a complex puzzle with only a handful of pieces. It would feel frustrating, maybe even impossible. That's how most of us live, relying only on the narrow perspective of our current life. But when you connect with your greater self, it's as though someone hands you the missing pieces. Suddenly, the picture becomes clear. You see not just where you are, but where you're going and how to get there. This clarity doesn't mean life will always be easy, but it does mean you'll move forward with confidence rather than fear. Why it matters for our world. When individuals begin to live from this expanded awareness, it doesn't just transform their personal lives, it transforms the collective. Every decision you make from a place of wholeness ripples outward, affecting those around you. Your clarity creates clarity for others. Your courage inspires courage. The network of your multidimensional self connects not only to other versions of you, but also to the networks of others, creating a vast, interconnected web of human evolution. This is how we begin to shift the world, not through force or control, but through alignment. When enough people access this inner network, the outer systems of our world naturally begin to change. Old patterns fall away. New possibilities emerge. The simple, profound truth. At the heart of all this is a simple truth: you are not alone, and you never have been. Every night, when you dream, you are meeting with these other selves, exchanging information across timelines. Every moment of intuition, every flash of insight, every deep sense of knowing, these are all signals from the network, guiding you toward your highest path. The journey of life is not about becoming something new or better. It's about remembering what has always been true, that you are vast, connected, and deeply supported. So the next time you feel lost, pause it, close your eyes, take a breath, and know that somewhere, in another strand of the great web of existence, another version of you is holding a lantern, lighting the way forward. When you trust this connection, you no longer need to force your life into shape. You simply align with the wisdom that's already flowing through you, a wisdom shared across dimensions, a wisdom that reminds you, you are whole, and you are home. 9. Dreams as an opportunity to design your reality each night. As your body surrenders to rest, and your mind drifts beyond the noise of the day, you step into a realm most people never truly notice, a place I often think of as the control room of your existence. It's not a room made of walls and ceilings, but of possibilities. It's vast and quiet, and yet alive with the hum of countless timelines, each one representing a different version of your life. Here, every potential choice, every possible outcome, exists side by side, like branches of an infinite tree. Some branches are vibrant and strong, filled with vitality and growth. Others are tangled or broken, reflecting patterns of fear, limitation, or avoidance. Most of us drift through this space unconsciously, letting our dreams carry us wherever they may, unaware of the power that lies at our fingertips. We wake up and say, "It was just a dream," never realizing that, while we slept, we were walking among the blueprints of our reality. But when you enter this space with awareness, when you step into the control room with clarity and intention, everything changes. You begin to see that you are not merely a passenger in life, reacting to circumstances. You are the architect, quietly designing the reality you will soon awaken to, seeing beyond the veil. It took me many years to understand this. For a long time, I believed life simply happened to me. Good things, bad things, random twists of fate, all beyond my control. But there was always a whisper inside me, a subtle feeling that perhaps there was more at play than I could see. That whisper grew louder through certain dreams, dreams so vivid, so precise, that they felt like stepping into another life entirely. In those dreams, I wasn't just an observer. I was actively making choices, walking down paths, opening doors. And strangely, when I awoke, those very same paths and doors began to appear in my waking life. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but the more I paid attention, the more I realized it was deliberate creation. Each dream had been like a rehearsal, a chance to try on different realities before deciding which one to bring into form. The power of intention. Imagine sitting in front of a vast control panel, filled with countless levers and switches. Each one represents a different aspect of your life: relationships, health, work, creativity, spiritual growth. If you don't touch them consciously, they default to old settings, patterns you inherited from childhood, societal conditioning, or past wounds. But in the control room of your dreams, you have the opportunity to reset those settings. You can consciously choose which levers to move, which directions to explore. This is where intention becomes everything. If you go to sleep with a scattered mind, your dream energy will scatter too. You may still access powerful realms, but without direction, the experience will slip through your fingers like water. However, if you fall asleep with a clear, heartfelt intention, even a simple one, you set a course. You send a signal to your deeper self, saying, "This is where I want to focus. This is what I want to understand or create." When you wake, you may not always remember the dream in full detail. That doesn't matter. What matters is the energetic alignment you set in motion. You'll feel it in subtle ways, a calm clarity where there used to be confusion, a nudge toward a decision, a sudden opportunity appearing seemingly out of nowhere. These are the signs that your dreaming self has been at work, quietly designing a better reality for your waking self. Choosing the optimal timeline. Every timeline is like a thread stretching into the future. Some are heavy with struggle and resistance. Others are light and expansive, filled with growth and flow. Most people stumble into timelines unconsciously, never realizing they had a choice. But in your dreams, you can see those threads. You can sense them, even if you don't have words for it. When you bring awareness to this space, you can begin to select the optimal timeline, the one that aligns with your highest potential. Sometimes this selection shows up as a dream crossroads. You might dream of literally standing at a fork in the road, with one path leading into shadow and the other into light. The imagery may feel symbolic, but the choice is very real. If you pay attention, you'll recognize that same crossroads when it appears in your waking life. And because you've already chosen in the dream, your waking choice will come with a profound sense of certainty. Why this practice matters. When you realize that dreams are not random but purposeful, you stop dismissing them. You begin to treat them as sacred meetings, nightly strategy sessions between you and the larger field of your own consciousness. This understanding transforms how you move through life. Instead of feeling like a victim of fate, You step into the role of co-creator. Instead of wandering aimlessly, you move with direction and clarity. You begin to trust that every night offers a chance to course correct, to align with the version of you who already knows the way forward. This isn't about controlling every outcome. Life will always contain mystery and surprise, and that's part of its beauty. It's about participation. It's about showing up as an active collaborator with the deeper forces shaping your life. A simple practice to begin. If you want to experience this for yourself, start small. Tonight, before you fall asleep, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Imagine yourself stepping into that vast control room. See the panel before you, glowing softly with endless possibilities. Then, choose one area of your life you'd like to bring into harmony. Maybe it's a relationship that needs healing. Maybe it's clarity about a career decision. Maybe it's simply a desire for peace. Whisper your intention gently, like a prayer. Show me the highest path forward for this. As you sleep, trust that your dreaming self will move the necessary levers, open the right doors, and bring you the insights you need. When you wake, pay attention to what unfolds, not just in your dreams, but in the subtle events of the day. Life will begin to reflect the choices you made in that invisible space. The ultimate truth. Each night, you are given access to the deepest levels of creation. Most people never realize it. They treat sleep as nothing more than rest, and dreams as meaningless entertainment. But you know better now. You know that every dream is an opportunity not just to wander, but to design, to step into the role of architect, shaping the structure of your life from the inside out. So the next time you close your eyes, remember you are not simply falling asleep. You are entering the blueprint of your existence. And with each conscious choice you make in that space, you bring forth a future that is more aligned, more expansive, and more deeply true to who you really are. Dreams are not an escape from life. They are where life begins. Coming home through your dreams. Quantum dreams are often misunderstood. Many people imagine that they come from distant gods, mysterious forces, or some external power beyond our reach. But the truth is far more intimate and far more empowering. These dreams do not come from outside of you. They rise from the deepest layers of you, from the parts of your being that are spread across different dimensions, quietly living, breathing, and guiding you in ways the physical eye cannot see. When you truly grasp this, everything changes. You stop looking outward for salvation or direction. You stop believing you are powerless, tossed about by random fate. Instead, you realize that every dream is a message from the vast network of your own consciousness. It is your future self, your healed self, your highest self, reaching back across time and space to whisper, "This way, love, this is where you are meant to go." The courage to listen. Learning to listen to your dreams is not always easy. It requires patience, tenderness, and trust. In a world filled with noise, it takes courage to turn inward and honor something as quiet and subtle as a dream. At first, the messages may seem faint, like distant stars, barely visible through clouds. You might doubt yourself, wondering if you're just imagining things. That's natural. Doubt is part of the journey. But if you stay with it, if you keep returning each night with open hands and an open heart, the clouds begin to part, the stars grow brighter, and soon, you will see that your dreams have been speaking clearly all along. You simply needed to remember how to hear them. When you begin to listen deeply, doors open, questions that once felt overwhelming are answered, not with force or effort, but with a gentle clarity that feels almost miraculous. You begin to move through life with a sense of companionship, guided not by fear or confusion, but by a profound inner knowing. You are never alone. Perhaps the most healing truth of all is this: you have never walked alone. Even in your darkest nights, when you felt abandoned or lost, other versions of you were there, walking alongside you in unseen ways. Every challenge you face, some version of you has already overcome it. Every dream you hold, some version of you has already lived it into reality. And through the web of your dreams, they are reaching out to support you, to lend you their strength, their wisdom, their vision. When you wake in the morning with the memory of a dream lingering in your heart, let it be a reminder of this connection. You are part of a vast, living network of consciousness. You are never without guidance, never without love. The outer world may feel chaotic or uncertain, but inside this network, there is order, harmony, and purpose, and you are a vital thread in that great design. A practice for tonight. Before you fall asleep, try something simple. Sit quietly for a few moments, close your eyes, and take a slow, steady breath. Then set a small, clear intention. It doesn't need to be grand or complicated. It might be as simple as, show me one step I can take toward healing, or help me understand what I most need to know right now. As you drift into sleep, carry this intention like a lantern in your hands. Trust that, in the dream realm, you will be met by the parts of yourself who already hold the answers. Trust that they will speak to you perhaps through words, perhaps through images, perhaps simply through a feeling that lingers when you wake. And when morning comes, honor what you receive. Before you reach for your phone or rise from bed, take a moment to sit quietly. Write down any impressions, no matter how small. These are seeds. They may not make sense immediately, but given time and attention, they will grow into guidance that shapes your waking life. The journey of many steps. Every night is a new opportunity. Every dream is a step on the path toward the life you are meant to live. There will be nights when nothing seems to come through, and mornings when your dreams feel fragmented or unclear. That's okay. Progress is rarely linear. Some steps are bold and obvious. Others are subtle and quiet. What matters is that you keep showing up, night after night, trusting the process. One day, perhaps weeks or months from now, you will look back and see how far you've come. You will notice how the messages have woven together into a story, guiding you gently, persistently, toward a place you couldn't have reached on your own. And when that day comes, you'll understand something profound. It wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence. It was you. Your dreams have been leading you home all along. The promise of return. There is a moment waiting for you, a morning when you will wake and realize that the person you have become is the person you once dreamed of being. When you will stand in your own life and see the beauty, the strength, the wholeness that has emerged from all the small choices, the subtle whispers, the quiet moments of trust, and you will know, with every fiber of your being, that your dreams were never separate from your reality. They were the blueprint, the map, the bridge. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember this. You are not falling asleep. You are stepping into the sacred space where reality is shaped, where your future self is waiting to meet you. Let each dream be a step forward. Let each night bring you closer to the life that has always been calling your name. And one day, you will look back and see that the path was never random. It was lovingly designed by you, for you, in partnership with all the versions of you that exist beyond time and space. In the end, you will arrive not at a strange, unfamiliar place, but at the deepest truth of all. You have been home all along.